Star Trek is hilariously mimicking Captain Sisko's DS9 appearance change. Lieutenant Bradward Boimler, Jack Quaid, growing facial hair in Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5 is hilarious, and it's a running joke that parodies how Captain Benjamin Sisko, Avery Brooks, gradually changed his appearance on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. In Star Trek Lower Decks' final season on Paramount+, the USS Cerritos investigates dimensional rifts that lead to alternate Star Trek timelines. Meeting his confident, bearded doppelganger inspired Boimler to grow a beard of his own. When Star Trek Deep Space Nine introduced Commander Benjamin Sisko, he had a full head of hair and was clean-shaven. Avery Brooks's most famous prior role was the bald, goateed Hawk in Spencer for Hire and A Man Called Hawk. Paramount Studios didn't want their 24th century Star Trek leading man to resemble a modern-day character, so Brooks was given a mandate to adjust his look. Yet Avery was uncomfortable with his appearance. Although it took 3 years, Brooks was able to change Captain Sisko to be bald and sport a goatee. Star Trek Lower Decks made Lieutenant Brad Boimler's quest to grow a distinguished beard a hilarious ordeal for the audience to watch that stretches throughout Season 5. Starting with a few whiskers, Boimler's beard is coming in fits and patches instead of evenly. Bradward can't seem to grow a 5 o'clock shadow, and in Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5 Episode 4, A Farewell to Farms, Boimler sports a ratty pencil mustache while his chin is covered in splotches of hair. It's incredibly funny to look at. Starting in Star Trek Deep Space Nine Season 3 Episode 22, Explorers, Commander Sisko suddenly appeared with a goatee. Avery Brooks instantly seemed more relaxed and self-assured with his new facial hair. By the end of DS9 Season 3, Sisko was promoted to captain and given command of the USS Defiant, which gave Benjamin even more spring in his step. When Star Trek Deep Space Nine Season 4 began, Captain Sisko was bald and his iconic look was complete. Sisko in DS9 never looked back. Star Trek Lower Decks' LT Brad Boimler is only the latest character to evolve his appearance. Boimler's beard is obviously inspired by Commander Will Riker, Jonathan Frakes, who grew a beard between Star Trek The Next Generation Seasons 1 and 2. Scotty, James Doohan, was clean-shaven in Star Trek, the original series, but had a mustache in the Star Trek movies. Geordie LaForge, LeVar Burton, lost his iconic visor and got robotic eyes in Star Trek First Contact, while Captain Catherine Janeway's, Kate Mulgrew, hairstyle changed throughout Star Trek Voyager. Most instances when Star Trek characters change their appearance are sudden. The difference with Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5 is seeing Boimler's facial hair grow in a comical fashion over time. Star Trek Deep Space Nine fans also got to gradually witness Captain Sisko's look evolve. Thanks to Star Trek Lower Decks' Season 5 premiere, audiences already know what Boimler will look like when his beard is fully grown, but getting there is the fun part. In the vast, ever-evolving world of Star Trek, character development often comes hand in hand with physical transformations. One of the most iconic examples of this is Captain Benjamin Sisko from Star Trek Deep Space Nine DS9. Sisko's journey, from his debut in the show's first season to his final appearances, is marked by dramatic changes in both his demeanor and his physical appearance. Now, with new installments in the Star Trek universe, including Star Trek Lower Decks and Star Trek Picard, there are playful nods to this famous transformation, hilariously mimicking Captain Sisko's evolution in ways that both honor and poke fun at Star Trek's beloved lore. Sisko's DS9 evolution. To understand why Star Trek is mimicking Sisko's DS9 transformation, we need to dive into the significant changes the character underwent during the series. When DS9 premiered in 1993, Benjamin Sisko, played by Avery Brooks, was introduced as a commander. He was clean-shaven with a close-cropped head of hair and carried the weight of recent trauma, the loss of his wife at the Battle of Wolf 359. His initial appearances gave viewers the impression of a man wrestling with deep grief and at times reluctant leadership. However, as the show progressed, Sisko's character underwent a profound metamorphosis, both emotionally and physically. By the end of Season 3, Sisko's appearance changed dramatically. He shaved his head and grew a goatee, a look that made him seem more battle-hardened, confident, and distinct. This new look coincided with his promotion to captain and a shift in his character arc. He embraced his role as the emissary of the Bajoran prophets, accepted the burdens of commanding DS9 during the Dominion War, and became a symbol of resilience and strength in the Star Trek universe. Sisko's transformation was a clear, deliberate choice by the show's creators to mark his evolution into a more authoritative and iconic leader. The bald head and goatee became a signature look, to the point where fans often consider that Sisko as the definitive version of the character. Hilarious tributes in Star Trek Lower Decks fast forward to the more comedic side of the Star Trek universe, specifically Star Trek Lower Decks. This animated series, known for its irreverent humor and deep-cut references to Star Trek canon, has a penchant for celebrating and sometimes lightly mocking the franchise's beloved moments. It's no surprise then that Sisko's dramatic appearance change in DS9 would become fodder for humorous tributes. One particularly hilarious instance occurs when Lower Decks references the idea of Starfleet captains adopting new personas or physical changes to signify growth. A character might start clean-shaven and with hair, only to later appear bald with facial hair after some personal or professional revelation. This trope is clearly a nod to Sisko, who underwent just such a transformation in DS9. The show plays with the idea that every significant Starfleet captain must have a phase where they reinvent their look. The comedic brilliance of Lower Decks lies in how it lampoons these iconic changes without undermining their emotional weight. It's a celebration of how something as simple as a change in hairstyle can become a symbol of growth, particularly in a franchise that takes character development so seriously. By lovingly poking fun at Sisko's appearance change, the show highlights how Star Trek has always been about more than just starships and alien worlds. It's about the personal journeys of its characters. Winks to the past in Star Trek Picard, while Lower Decks takes a more overtly comedic approach, Star Trek Picard also offers subtler winks and nods to Sisko's transformation. Though Picard focuses on a different captain and a different era, the show is acutely aware of its place within the broader Star Trek universe and the legacy of those who came before. In its second season, when Jean-Luc Picard undergoes his own transformation of sorts, coming to terms with his past, confronting buried traumas, and embracing his vulnerabilities, there's a clear mirroring of the kind of internal and external journey that Sisko experienced in DS9. Fans of DS9 have noted that Picard's development in the series, complete with his more grizzled appearance and introspective demeanor, feels like a subtle homage to Sisko's journey. Though Picard doesn't shave his head or grow a goatee, his transformation into a more reflective and vulnerable leader echoes the kinds of changes Sisko underwent throughout DS9. The idea that captains evolve both internally and externally over the course of their lives is a hallmark of Star Trek storytelling, and Sisko's appearance change remains one of the most memorable examples of this trope. The impact of Sisko's transformation on Star Trek canon. Sisko's transformation in DS9 has had a lasting impact on the Star Trek canon, influencing how future captains are portrayed and how the franchise handles character evolution. The decision to change Sisko's look wasn't just about aesthetics. It was a powerful narrative tool, symbolizing his growing acceptance of his role as both Starfleet captain and emissary of the prophets. This duality is what made Sisko one of the most complex and compelling captains in Star Trek history. In a way, Sisko's journey set the precedent for other captains to experience their own transformative arcs, whether through physical changes, emotional growth, or both. From Janeway's fluctuating hairstyles in Star Trek Voyager to Picard's evolving relationship with his humanity, Star Trek captains are often defined by the ways they change over time.